Okay, so how to write a great headline or an attention grabber, or sometimes it's called a hook. Today I'm going to be talking about what are the components of that and how does it get better? How do you get better at it? And I call it writing a great headline is different than writing a done headline. I mean, you can write something and you can use it as a headline. Certainly you can do that. But does it get the attention that you had hoped it would do? So if not, then it's time to take a look at your headlines. What is it that causes people to stop and read your stuff? You have to have a headline so that people want to stop and read your content. So I'm going to go through and I have a couple, I'm getting my information. I have this book. This is a really good book about writing copy that sells by Ray Edwards. He has done a really good job in giving some really good examples. So this might be a suggestion for you as far as some continued education on how to do the writing. Then I also have some other information that I have gathered and things that I've tested and that have worked. So if you are joining me live, please say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're coming in from. Just don't be quiet. Tell me that you're there and say hi. All right. If you're watching the replay, give me a replay and tell me what is valuable in the content. I would love to know. So let's talk about content. The first thing, you know how it is. Think about how you go about looking at content on social media. Now I'm talking about writing content for social media. Think about how this is. When you're going along, you're scrolling along, and you have your tablet or your phone, and you're scrolling along on what causes you to stop and read something. Is it a good headline? Because I have to tell you, when I find something that I really stop and I look at it, I'm like, oh, what kind of headline did they have here? What made me stop and look at it? Do your own testing. Not only ask people what they think of the headlines that you've created, but look at what others have written that stopped you to read. Okay? It's the best way to figure out what works and what doesn't. But let's go through the different components of writing a headline. So start out by writing whatever content you're going to have, write a headline, and then write 10 more, slightly different. And then the next thing you do, you write 15 more. You always need different ideas, and then you're going to test some of these. First of all, once you've written 15, then you're going to 15 plus 10, that's 25. Then you're going to cross out the worst 15. And then you have the bold 5 of them. Make sure you pick out 5 that you think are the best. And then you're going to just take those and do a poll to your audience and say, hey, looking at doing something like writing some content, writing this blog or whatever, and here's the headlines. Which do you like? Give me an idea of what you like and what would grab your attention. Not necessarily what they like. I think that's a wrong term to use. What grabbed your attention? Which one of these headlines grabs your attention? You want to know which one would they stop and read. And you can do an A/B test on it. Have the headlines on A and headlines on B and ask them to ask people. You can figure out the A/B test actually is setting up your content with 2 different headlines and see which one has the most engagement, which one has the people stopping the most. Now, a lot of this, people use this to write ads for social media. I also use this for my lives. I also use this for my videos. I use all of this content, all of these techniques to write headlines for my videos, write headlines for my lives, whatever it is. That's how I use it. So this is one way to learn how to write good headlines. Another way is to do research on YouTube. Go to YouTube, whatever your subject is, go to YouTube and search for it and find out what videos are out there that have millions of views. Don't take headlines from videos that have 100 views. You want to take it from the videos that have hundreds and millions of views. But then model it. Don't copy it. You want to model it. You want to make sure that you're modeling that and not copying. And there are some tools in YouTube to help you figure out what is being searched and what is, what are the top search keywords and what's a good title to use and what is not. If you would like information on those tools and the steps that I go through to figure out my titles, let me know and I can get that information to you. I am actually putting together a step-by-step guide on how to find titles and how to write titles. And that's kind of why I was talking about this today, is to kind of give you guys a heads up. I'm going to be putting that together and how to use YouTube, step-by-step guide on how to use YouTube and its tools. There's a lot of, there's some extensions. There is some other tools that work really well with YouTube to figure out what titles to use, how to write them, and what wording in the titles does not work and what works good. So that is a couple things about a headline. A headline should be helping someone instead of telling. So it should be helpful to someone, not telling them how to do something. How to, that's why how to is so popular. It's very popular under YouTube videos, how to do something. And it's helpful because they were searching on how to do something. So not telling them, you want it to be helpful instead of telling. You're going to suggest ways to do things, not telling them how to do things. Give advice for improvement. How to do this without the pain. So how to get to the dream without the pain is kind of the step-by-step guide. And all of this will be in my step-by-step guide as I put this together. And of course, provide solid evidence of your claim. I mean, if you're claiming something in your title, make sure you have solid evidence in your content about that, because that is really important. And maybe you're going to share an experience, and of course, you don't want to ask for, we call it clickbaiting. You don't want to ask them to click on something or to contact you from the headline. That's going too far. That comes later in your content. The headline should just be to stop them, to get somebody that is interested in what you have, to get them to stop and read it. Okay? It's really all your attention grabber is for, is to get them to stop and read your content. I mean, it's not to convince them to do anything else but to stop and read your content. Okay? And then, of course, making sure that your headline is aligned with your content. That is really, really important. Maybe you could write something that is really interesting for your your niche or your, you know, in your market. Oh, I'm trying to think of how he stated this, but it, you know, adding some controversy to it is also, because if you claim something that isn't true or you don't have any proof of it, people are going to catch on to that real quick. That's called spammy and spam, and yeah, people don't like that. And you can state a problem and offer a solution all in one sentence. Okay, that would be another way of writing a headline or an attention grabber. You can include a statistic, you know, something that has happened to you, something that maybe you recruited 30 people in 30 days. If it's actually true, then that's a good headline to, or good information to add to the headline. Okay. But know your audience, you know, speak to your audience, speak as if you were talking to a live person. This is not about creative writing. This is not about creative writing at all. I mean, it really doesn't. I'm not a creative writer, and it does not need to be about creative writing. So those are some tips that I have for writing your headline. If you would like information on my YouTube guide to find headlines and attention grabbers, you know how to get a hold of me. You know how to get a hold of me. So I'm here to help if I can. All right. So that's what I've got for you today. Until my next video, have a great day.